The WABC's audience is different than we are. This station is an adult contemporary rock station. We play rock music that people grew up with. So our audience is primarily 20s, 30s, and 40s, even into the 50s. We're now getting a huge amount of people your age because they're digging what we're doing. We're doing something new. We're having fun with radio, which nobody else in the city is doing. I don't think there's been the last time I had fun on radio was back in the 60s, early 60s on WABC. And then they stopped. Then they just went, they rested on their tushies and they forgot the whole thing.
Yeah.
Playing their 14 records and doing nothing, saying time and weather. And talents like Dan and Ronnie are, just, what do they care? They're just collecting their money right now. I couldn't take it. This station is trying something new. We're trying to have fun on the air. And we're having a good time. We're playing everything. I mean, the shaving cream story. You can hear any day something else up. Now this Herb Albert thing, that'll be on. But I condense it. This Friday I'll have Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I had David Clayton Thomas here yesterday, so I do that type of thing. I make it sound real, see? Saturday I do my countdown show, but that's a goof. I rip open envelopes, and I put echoes on. I mean, I just goof, make believe I'm different places. So we're not dealing with the same type of situation we did at the ABC. We want to become number one in our market, which is adult listeners. XLO now is taking almost all of ABC's audience, all the teenage audience. ABC is taking a very big bite. They're still number one. But little by little, everyone's ripping chunks away. Like, we're taking all the adults away. I'm taking all the women away from them. See, this station never had any kind of audience. And now we're getting an audience. Bobby Vernon's doing extremely well, and I'm doing very well. I'm taking, at my time, they want women. And that's my audience, women. That's why I moved during the day. See, the decision, when I came over here, the decision to move me from nighttime radio shocked me. I didn't want to do it. It was up to me. I have a contract to do what I want. I have a very long contract with this company, which we'll get into why I left ABC later. But, yeah. Oh, that's a... Yeah. Which one's 8? Oh, thank you. Hello? Yeah, hi, how you doing? Oh, not bad. Somebody some days will come out with one, a purple one called a statutory grape. That's what I want. All right, now, I spoke to Barry. You know Barry? Well, anyway, he's our salesman who handles the American Motors account. He's going to drive me up there next week. So what should I give you, like a day's notice? Oh, I just can't wait. All right, well, the only problem is setting I'm going to be in Lancaster doing a film, and then I got to do the Arthritis Telethon, so they got me tied up terribly. Okay, so I'll call you during the week, and I'll shoot up there. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. That's it. We are not in competition with the WABC, who is in competition with an XLO. They're going after, the teeny bopper of the teenage audience. We don't do that. We are after a young adult and adult audience. See, this is what we're doing. So our aim, of course, is to get number one in women and men. Teenagers will come automatically because I think teenagers want an alternative too. I think guys your age are tired of hearing Top 14. Guys like PIX, I think, they're doing the same thing. Everyone's doing the same thing. This is the only station on the dial in pop rock music. I mean, I'm playing heavy rock, as you know. We're playing, as I said, there's nothing on the station that'll ever offend anyone's ears because we don't want to do that. We play music that people we grew up with. So we're going after a special audience. We're not interested in ABC, but ABC, little by little, I left, a chunk went away. XLO, this last rating took a big chunk away from everybody. So little by little, they're fighting it out. We're going for our own market.
So basically,
so we're not interested in ABC.
Right, but following what you were just.
Bless you. I'm sorry.
Bless you. Following what you were just saying, you don't think Ron Lundy's ratings have fallen at all because you're in his time slot?
Well, as I said, we took a lot of women away from them, but they're still number one. They still do very well. Ron will always do very well. But in our time slot, it is essential to have the adult audience. ABC does not have an adult audience. It is primarily a teenage station. That's the problem with the WABC. Well, Dan Ingram, I think, is one of the top talents in the whole world. I really do. It's unfortunate that he cannot display that talent because of the format of WABC. It took me 3 years of being very unhappy to get the hell out of there. I was very happy there in the 60s. Station, so was Dan. We had a good time. And then the station just sat back and played the same things and had the same jingles and did time and weather and temperature. And this is, to me, radio to me is the most human of all mediums.
Yeah,
more human than television.
Yeah.
It's you can express yourself, you can do anything you want. It should be a fun medium. And nobody did that. And ABC just stopped. We used to have fun in the old days, and they stopped. So for the last 3 years of my career at ABC, I was very, very unhappy. I was bored stiff. And I probably sounded that way, just like I think most of the guys on ABC right now sound. They all sound alike. Okay. He's not negotiating with NBC. I'd love to have him here, but NBC now has a staff that I feel is going to be another history-making staff. NBC has been looking for many, many years now to do something different, build a competent staff. And as I said, we have guys like Vernon, we have guys like Oogie, Dick Summers and Dick Summer, and you got Imus, who was absolutely out of his bird, and myself. We're very happy. If there was a room for an Ingram, hell, I know he'd love to come here, and I know we'd love to have him. But Ingram is tied up with ABC. He is tied up for the next couple of years. There's nothing he can do.
How long are you tied up for?
He or me? Ingram?
Him.
I don't know. I just have to guess. I think he has about 2.5 years to go, unless he just probably renegotiated. That's why he came back. I think he renegotiated a contract, and knowing Dan, he won't take anything from anybody. So evidently he won a good battle with ABC, which makes me happy because I like Dan very much. Scared of us probably, and XLO really took a big bite out of him this last book, and it hurt him very badly. And CBS FM did very well. So everyone's taking chunks away from it. Where years ago, when I was on ABC, Ingram and I used to have 50 share of the audience. There were 13 stations in the market. You got to understand what's happening. So when I went on the air at ABC, Dan and I were the original members of that team. Like now he's the only one left now that I left. The original members. The other guys are new, really, comparatively. There were 13 to 15 stations on opposite us in competition. Because FM didn't mean, nothing. Didn't mean a damn. Today, there are 60 stations on in this city that are on the Pulse and ARB. Now, just sheer, very fundamental mathematics will show you that it has to fractionalize. Every station comes on, takes a point, or 2 points, 3 points. There's no more. So if you have a 7 or 8 share in this market now, you are king. Mm. And little by little, it's being ripped away from the stations that have been the institutions. And now these institutions must get off their asses and do something. ABC has not done anything over the past 10 years. They just sat back and reaped it in. But now they're starting to realize, things are changing. But I don't think they know what direction to go. Because the people that are running it, Mr. Sklar and those people, are accountants and statisticians. They're not radio programmers like we have John Lund. John Lund is a programmer. John Lund is an experimenter. John Lund has a very wild sense of humor, and he's a very bright man. He is ultra sophisticated in radio, and we're trying to bring fun, all of us, back to this city. There hasn't been fun in radio. Radio should be a fun medium. Otherwise, you got a jukebox.
Okay.
Should, but see, a general manager generally leaves the programming to a program director. A general manager generally is sales orientated and relies upon his program director to take care of the format. The format, I believe, will stay the same because I told you the people running it are statisticians. They're not programmers. They have no concept of programming. They know their ratings and they go for their numbers, and that's it. And they don't know a Beatle record from a Rolling Stone record, and that's fact. Statisticians, and that's unfortunately not only with an ABC, but it's unfortunately happening all over the country now that statisticians are running contemporary radio, and they're running it and they're ruining it. Put an I in there. They're destroying it because I said radio is a regional and a local medium. You cannot run a radio station in Dallas from New York City and vice versa. A Chicago programmer has no right to run a New York station or a Tennessee station. Radio is a very local phenomenon, and it's immediate. It's what's happening down in Broadway and what's happening in the weather. And gee, I went to a party last night. Radio is immediate. It's a hip pocket electronic gadget. It's a friend. And you can't program it from different places. And that's what they try to do, and they fail. They fail every single time. Is kind of, not too many people know this, WABC originally was the good guys. It lasted for about 4 weeks, but they didn't spend any money on it. WMCA then also became the good guys. And see, most of these things come from other stations, other markets. There's very few original ideas. The good guys, there were good guys in about 20 markets before we got it. So ABC became the good guys. That lasted 3 weeks. WMCA then took it away and put out their shirts. We had to drop it, and then we became the All-Americans. Ridiculous. I mean, the competition was terrific. MCA never really came near us. They did pretty well. They were second and third. They never came near us in ratings at all. Not at all. You can go through many notches on my gun in those days that were at MCA. I forgot the guy with the woolly burger. He lasted a year. Then B. Mitchell Reed lasted a year and a half. And they never really got against us. But they did pretty well. They were second rock and roll station. But if they had a contest, we had a contest. They put out shirts. We put out this. They put out they played this record. Oh, in those days, the craziest thing was the exclusives. Everybody wanted exclusive records, which, by the way, I do in the air today, but I make fun of it. I yell, exclusive! Rick Sly used to have things, no, don't let them copy the record. Make sure you put WABC exclusive all over it. And the airways was full. We had the first Beatle record. They had the first Rolling Stone record. Our program director would get mad at the music people. It was crazy. It was terribly competitive, as is happening now between WNEW FM and QIV FM. It's ridiculous what's happening there in the record business. If one guy gets a record before the other guy, they won't play it. If one guy gets a concert, the other ones won't play the record. It's ridiculous. It's juvenile, and I'm very surprised.
Okay, so do you feel that part of ABC's policy of just sitting on their rear ends has been because there really wasn't too much competition for a while, like after WMCA went to the talk format. They kind of just were on their own.
Well, WMCA was forced out of the music format because they couldn't compete anymore with the WABC. Then FM came in. See, you got to remember that. You had ABC on the AM band, and then all the FM started rocking. And the MCA thing just dissipated because it was, once again, very poor programming, very poor management. ABC has always been an ultra-conservative music program station. The company is very conservative, and they feel if you play the hits, you can't lose, which was fine back in 1950 and 60. Plus, the second fact, they don't have anybody there with an ear for music, and they don't care about it. They just go and they play a record after it's been proven 14 weeks. You'll hear a record there 14 weeks later, and you'll hear it on the air for 20 weeks. It never gets on ABC when it's brand new, except it's the Beatles. You'll never hear a new artist there, and you'll never hear a new record there until it's a proven hit. And that's the way their format works, and then they are still number one, but as I said, it's the rocks are falling. It's being chipped away.
What are they playing on?
What are they playing on?
How many?
Depends on commercial load. They usually are pretty well sold out.
I mean, the top 14.
Well, every other record was top 14. Every other record had to be an asterisk record. They have to play a format. They have to play one from the top 14, one oldie, one from the top 14, one new oldie, etc. It's a formatted thing.
I see. Yeah.
It's a pain. Well, it's not confused. Very simple, but it's there's no variety in their programming, and that's why they're going to lose. Very simple. Today, the listener, whether it be a teen listener or a young adult or an adult listener, wants variety in their music. It's a very simple thing. They want to hear variety. They want to hear everything. Oh, we just spoke together, matter of fact, this afternoon. I just called him when he was on the air. I was listening for a few minutes. He said something funny, made me laugh. We are very friendly, Dan and I, and we talk all the time, and we go out socially, and we have a good time together. We both respect one another. And Ron Lundy the same way, and Harry Harrison. They're my three friends over there. We keep in very close touch. I mean, we're together all those years, you know, we become very close. And I think Dan is probably the most talented guy in our business today, in his type of thing. When I left ABC, I got a little loophole in my contract, and they terminated the contract with me, and they told me they were going to renegotiate. I signed a deal with Mr. Perry Bascom, who was the vice president and general manager, in 20 minutes. He wanted me for many years. It took me 20 minutes, with the promise, besides a lot of money, with the promise that I would have freedom on the air to say what I want. See, I believe radio, as I say, is very human. And a radio station that does not become involved with its listeners is a bunch of transistors, tubes, and junk. And there's very few stations doing that. I try to be involved with my audience through the telephone. Sometimes we get involved with serious things. Like I said, I think the government, the United States government, is ripping us off and lying to us about the gas situation. Got a lot of trouble for that. But I had to prove it. And I did. I did a 6-part documentary series. And I went out in the field and I talked to people who actually get their hands dirty with gasoline. And I proved we are lousy with gasoline in this area. Did that. I got a place in Maspeth, Queens, a traffic light because some kids were killed. They didn't want to put a traffic light up. I screamed on the air with mothers. Then I do nonsense. I do some fun things on the air, but I get involved with the audience. And I do radio quiz shows, which haven't been on the air for many years. Like tomorrow I'm doing Cousin Brucie's musical mini quiz. Play 4 songs, get a record.
Was that your idea?
Yeah, it's all my ideas. All my ideas.
That was a good idea.
And it sounds like a quiz show on the air. I mean, I have an announcer and applause, and people. Then I developed something called the Name Game, which will be on next week, and that's a quiz show too. You hear a voice of the past, somebody very famous, but it's all done with fun and an announcer and applause and a studio audience. It sounds like, and of course, it's all my imagination, and people love it, and people take it very seriously. I covered the St. Patrick's Day Parade the other day from my studio. We had better coverage than the real one, and it's all my imagination. Hello. Hello.
I don't know, I'm asking.
Yes, I play. Cousin Brucie plays it on Saturdays. Yes. No. It's a good band. It might get on eventually, but Bruce plays on Saturdays. Okay. Okay. Well, this is Al Brady. We met. Very, very interested, very knowledgeable, sophisticated characters. They do too damn much.
What are they doing talking to you?
Listen, plain Al. He didn't mean that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I guess he did.
Yeah, I did.
But he really
What
did.
the hell?
You know, we'll talk about plain Al. Just strike out what I said. Oh, nice. Oh, I'm sorry.
How nice?
Well, let's see. I'm just trying. Let's see. Let me just think. I probably had some things in mind. Oh, the old days with Herb Oscar Anderson. Herb Oscar Anderson, of course, was called the morning mayor in those days, and he had a terrible temper. And we were at a music meeting one day, and Herb Oscar picked up a phone. He got angry at the music director, ripped out the wall, and threw it at him. And that was the end of the music meetings. I'm just trying to think of some funny thing. I'd have to really sit down and think, and I've been really going like for 2 days without stopping. You know, I'm doing the News Center 4 now thing,
Right.
which I'm very excited
How
about,
often
because
do
I'm
you
also
do
pretty,
it?
well, right now, all I have time is once a week. They want more, but I can't. I did Harry Chapin, I filmed him last night, I just finished editing him. It'll be on the air tomorrow. And I write them and I produce them myself, which is the way I want it. When I do something, I like to do it myself.
And,
Plus, I teach a course at New York University. I teach every
Social
Tuesday.
studies.
I teach a course in contemporary communications, and if someday you'd like to come down and audit that course, you're welcome. Teach it Tuesdays from 3 o'clock on. It's at Tisch Hall at the downtown campus of New York University, room 200. You're welcome to come, and I have guests, and we talk, and very bright kids, very bright kids. And then I do a lot of other work, as you saw. Every day I'm talking to some, I'm interviewing people up here, and I'm producing things like my mini quizzes, and I've never worked this hard in my life, and I love it. Now this weekend is the Arthritis Telethon, and well, I'm probably gonna get involved in that. I gotta talk to my manager about that.
Who's going
See.
to edit that tape the way you want it?
This, I am.
Really?
Nobody touches
you're gonna
my
sit
tapes.
down and
Yeah.
little razor
Let
blade?
me tell you something, you gotta learn this, and you fellas go into business, into broadcasting. There are a lot of very competent people in the world, but nobody does it better than you do, because nobody knows about what you want more than you do.
Yeah.
Now, my radio show, which I am more interested in, I am more excited about doing my radio show. I am thinking about tomorrow. I can't wait to get on the air tomorrow morning. And when I was at ABC, I couldn't give a damn.
Yeah.
Nobody else does either over there, as you can hear. You can listen to them, you know they're bored.
Oh, the England. You
They're
can
bored.
you can
They're
sense
bored.
it.
And I can't wait to go on tomorrow, but no one's going to touch my tape. The Blood, Sweat, and Tears tape, no one's going to touch that either. I do it myself, and the same thing I do with my films.
Okay. Now,
I love to talk. I can talk for 20 hours without a stop. And when I go to schools, I go to high schools and colleges, I let the audience lead me. I want to see where their heads are. I'm very involved in drug abuse, you know, and alcoholism and sex thing. I'm always involved in sex. Yee. And I talk about everything. I love to talk. It's my opinions. And all I ask an audience is to listen to me. And don't agree with me, but listen to my opinions. See? From fine schools, American University. Emerson College is great for communications. NYU has a great communication course. Excellent. NYU has great facilities, television and radio.
somebody recommended both colleges, but
Excellent.
I'm going to Ithaca next year.
Ithaca has very good facilities. I lectured up there about 3 years ago. And very nice, good facilities, good radio and television, good courses. Yeah. Cold as hell. Jesus
Oh, I
Christ.
know.
I went up there, the
I know.
first hour of my lecture was a snowball fight in the snow with all the kids. It's a very strange
It's
lecture.
nice school.
Yeah, nice up there. The theory behind that, there's a million different formats around right now. The Q formats, the X formats. The Q format, you have to have the 2 seconds of this and 1 second of that. The 99X, the X format, which is this. You got to have a one record this, one that, one in the middle, which I think is ridiculous.
7 contests.
Oh yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. All right. They believe, the management of that station, which I told you are statisticians and not programmers, believe short as possible, very few interruptions, get the music on and play familiar music as possible, which goes for the same jingles. And they believe the more familiar you are and the more times you hear call letters, the more times you'll get mentioned in the diaries, or the ratings, which I think is very wrong. I believe the prime responsibility of a radio station and programming people and people like myself is to entertain people and provide a service which is called radio. I don't believe in providing a jukebox. I believe ABC is a jukebox. It's been a jukebox for many years. Vis-a-vis, I was extremely bored, and I couldn't wait to get out of there. I will tell you the story how I got out of there, which is kind of a personal thing, but it'll be in my book.
Book?
There's a book. Yeah, there's a book. I got a very big advance in my book.
So did I. Must have never showed up.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's very difficult for him to write. Such a character. He's quite a guy. He's quite a character. Well, anyway.
You were here the day after you got married.
ABC decided that they were going to start saving some money, and they were going to terminate a couple contracts and renegotiate according to ratings. They did that to Ron Lundy. First contract they won, they terminated his contract at the end of a cycle, whatever Ron had, and they wanted to renegotiate. And his money would be paid to him as his ratings went up or down, and the monies would be the same, which is obscene. My contract, they asked me if I would renegotiate, and I said, we'll talk to you. And they told me I can do anything I want. I'd like to renegotiate. All I wanted was my letter to get out of there, because for 3 years I was begging to get out. I couldn't stand it anymore. I mean, it was a bore.
Did they know that you wanted to leave?
No. A lot of people did, but they wouldn't. The people, Sklano's people, would not believe that I'd want to leave. I mean, this is my home. I was a piece of furniture there, as I mentioned in the New York Times. Brucie would never leave. He's a piece of furniture. You know, it belongs there. And everyone was shocked. That's why so much newspaper coverage. The letter came saying that we're going to renegotiate, and they terminated. Took it to my lawyer, and I waited for 3 weeks for that letter. I got very sick during those 3 weeks. I was very nervous. I was married during those. I was married that time, and extremely nervous that I wasn't going to get the letter. And the letter came. As I said then, within 20 minutes, I had a new contract with NBC. I did not give them the privilege to renegotiate, and they've never forgiven me for it, and they're very upset about it. It took me a week to convince them that I was serious. They didn't believe I was going to do that. They believed I was going to hold them up for more money. I came over here. They gave me, without asking, a tremendous amount of money, tremendous amount of freedom, and a feeling of doing radio, which to me is as important as money. I'm not going to say money's not important, because I'll be lying to you.
Yeah.
You know, I have ideals, but I also have green ideals. I'm a businessman, too. I love what I'm doing, and it's kind of nice when you love what you're doing when you're well paid for it. This company is magnificent. I'm getting involved in television. Where I did a show with Robert Klein. I don't know if you saw the People in the Bottle show, which did very well. Great show. And I'm going to be doing more specials, and I got a deal. They signed a contract with me for New Center 4, which I love. I love going out and doing things, and no one's ever done that. All the TV coverage of rock people, of the rock acts, have been done by people who are not in the music field. They don't know the first thing about it. And they're letting me do it my way, and I love it. I'm also writing a column now.
Right.
Kind of fun thing. It's in about 30 papers already. Got like 750,000 readers. It's kind of fun. And I write whatever I want. I write the way I talk. I'm not James Mitchell or anything, even though I say I'm in the air, but it gets across, and I do what I want. This station is phenomenal. I am so in love with this place, I can't tell you. Because they're radio people.
You don't see anything negative here?
No. No, I really don't. And I'd say it. It's one thing. I'm very outspoken. There's nothing I can say negative about it, because they let me do what I want.
What do you think of the tours going through?
I love it. I love it. I love to see the people. I
We
love
try
it.
to get up to ABC a little unsuccessful.
Yeah. Well, the tours, I think, are great. The tours here at this station are part of New York. It's part of the natural environment of the city, NBC tours. Sure. I love it. I love people. In fact, I don't know if you listen, but I have people coming in. I take people right off the tours and I talk to them.
Yeah.
Today I had newlyweds come up. Married 2 days.
Right.
And they came on the air with me. And Saturday I bring them in to give my party a realism. You know, I have Cousin Brucie's countdown party. It's not real. It's my imagination and some sound. But I bring people in, which gives it another dimension. And to this day, we get hundreds of letters asking for tickets to my party. There's no party. I'm going to London very shortly to do some BBC television. In fact, I did a BBC feed this morning from here, television, radio, on the Tommy party I went to last night. That's why I'm a wreck. No, I'm a New Yorker. This is my home. I'd like to go to the coast as long as I can come back the next day. I do not like the coast too much. This is where it belongs. This is, to me, the greatest city in the world and the most exciting, and has the best radio and television in the world, bar none. There's nobody near us. Nobody.
It's good to hear someone say that.
Oh, there isn't. I mean, I know. I mean, I've been there. I've been all over.
That's kind
New York is it. I mean, it's it.
It's different compared to the West Coast.
Yeah, completely different pace. Radio's different, TV's different. But as far as the talent, as far as the money, it's all here. It is. It has nothing compared. They always come to New York. The Grammy show, did you see the Grammys? I think one of the greatest TV specials I've ever seen, and it was done from New York. They could never have done it from California. They screw up everything they touch there. I mean, look at the Oscars, the most boring thing you've ever seen. I mean, terrible.
Yeah.
New York has the know-how and the sophistication. It's still the greatest city in the world, with all of our troubles. And boy, do we have troubles here. And my interest started with a high school teacher at James Madison High School in Brooklyn.
Oh,
I was a very shy kid.
Over near that.
Yeah, I was a very shy kid. When I was in school, I wanted to study medicine. I wanted to become a gynecologist. Loved to. Freelance gynecologist. An English teacher got me very interested in radio. Went into the Radio City Workshop, which is part of the Board of Education. They have an FM station. So even Cousin Brucie was on FM. WNYE FM, which was housed at Brooklyn Tech High School in Brooklyn. Stayed with them 2 years as part of my high school education. And that's where I really fell in love with radio. Went to Brooklyn College, got thrown out of there in 6 months. Went to NYU and found myself. Founded their radio station, WNYE, which is mine. WNYU, I mean, is my station. I built it, literally. Got the money for it and hacked up the wires and everything. Graduated from New York University with a Bachelor of Science in Communications. My first professional job was on the island of Bermuda. When I got there was no rock music there. I brought rock music to that very quiet island. They used to call me the Hammer. I had a radio show there and a TV show called The Search Party. Got in a lot of trouble there because I used to let black and white kids dance and sing together and sit together, and which I believe in. They didn't like that. I left the island very, very hurriedly after my life was threatened. But before I did, I made a record hop for a very small black church. Gave them all the money. I was escorted to the airport by thousands of people, and I left the island pretty quickly. Got in a lot of trouble there. I've been back there since. Things have changed quite a bit. Like it's changed all over the world. Still not ready yet, but we're getting there little by little. And Bermuda, came back, worked for Mutual Broadcasting as a producer, went in the Army. In the Army, I did special services, radio and television. Had a great time. Went through basic training, threw some hand grenades, got cut up a little bit. got a couple fist fights, became a sergeant, put me in special services, got fed up with the Army, went into the Air Force. I was always sort of a sea lawyer. I found out that there's a law you can transfer from service to service if you want. I drove people crazy, and I think it wasn't even a law. I think they just couldn't stand me anymore, and they threw me the hell out. And I went into the Air Force, had a great time, producing television and going on television for them. And then I came out of the Army, went to, let's see where I was, I'm trying to think, I screwed all the events up. Went to Miami for a year. While I was in Miami, WABC called me. Al Neal called me, hell of a nice guy. And I was with them for 13 years.
What happened to INS?
INS was just before the Army, 2 years.
Oh.
That's what the Cousin Brucie thing was born. I was there for 2 years.
So you moved rather rapidly up.
Yeah, it all happened pretty fast. And I haven't stopped, I just haven't stopped. I still work, I work as hard, and I love what I'm doing. But as I said, I was very bored for the last several years at ABC. It bored me. I was very tired. Hello. This is Bruce Morrow. Who am I talking to? Okay.
Don't like that.
And it's nice not to be bored again, I gotta tell you. I hate to be bored.
What's your book going to be about?
But all my experiences in radio, starting, how I started, I got into radio with kind of a freaky thing, about the cousin thing, and about the people I've met and talked to. And just a book on contemporary radio from the way I see it, from my point of view. Now,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What did you think of Newsday's article?
Oh, I loved it.
Do you remember? Yeah,
Oh, it's a great article, great article. I'll give you a copy. I have a lot of stuff. I'll give you some stuff before you leave.
Oh, great.
Great article. That was a beautiful article. That and the New York
like it.
Times.
I like
Oh,
it.
great for my career. It was critical. That man did a job in me. He lived with me for 3 days.
Really?
And even checked my age. He called Albany. I'm 39. I told him I was 38. I lied to him. He thought I was older because he couldn't understand how anybody, can have this kind of success in 38 years, 39 years. So he son of a bitch called Albany. Edit bitch. Son of a gun called Albany to check my age, and he found I was 39, so he PO'd me. I lied to him
He
for a
stayed
year.
with you for 3 days?
Yeah, lovely. Well, you take a look at that article. He found out everything about me.
Yeah.
Called all the old guys,
Excellent.
all the guys that were with me, and a lot of them were very critical. He printed everything. It was a very fair article, but of course, it's good. Yeah, well, Rick, Rick is still pretty upset. We're still, fairly good friends on the outside, but personally, professionally, I have no respect for his judgment, and he's pretty upset at me because I hurt him pretty bad.
Well,
He's terrific. He is funny. He is Bobby Vernon, who calls himself my son.
Yeah.
He's 2 years older than I
Cousin
am.
Brucie.
He's terrific. I think we got very talented men on the air. I really do, and we're having a good time. And I know the audience loves it. I finished it up. They put me on the air because they knew I'm a professional. Most other guys would get on and start putting down the station, and so I don't do that. I'm a professional.
Like the Cages do.
Yeah, well, he lasted on that station for 2 weeks. God, I don't know why that man doesn't give up. I mean, it's ridiculous, Well, it's not funny. It's a very serious situation because it makes it tough on guys like myself, When I go into schools, they all say, "Oh God, thank God you don't like him," this type of thing, It's not nice. It's bad. Everyone feels sorry for him, but I feel sorry for him. But I wish he'd sell fish or something.
Yeah.
What's he doing now?
Nothing. He's doing some kind of symposium. He's always coming up with some kind of gimmicks. But they fired him in 2 weeks. They fired him from this place too. Well, anyway, I finished my job there, and I got them their ratings. And the last day on the air, they were going to surprise me, not let me go on because they were afraid I was going to do something. I stayed on the air a half hour, and they were very rude to me. They had guards upstairs who happened to be good friends of mine. They threw everybody out of the studio because the last day Dan came on my show and Harry, and there was a lot of commotion. I still never said where I was going. The only thing I ever said was when I signed off, I said, "It's been really a beautiful 13 years. You'll hear from me again real soon. And I'm going to leave the air right now."
Chuck with him.
And then Chuck Leonard tried to take over.
Tried.
I'm being sarcastic.
Would they have let him keep that spot?
No way. No, Chuck Leonard has his hour and a half or whatever he has now, and that's where he's going to stay. He's not there. He doesn't have it.
You don't got it?
Don't got it? I gave you the article. You got that, right? Well, what happened, I put that song on as a joke. One of the engineers brought it into me. He says, "Why don't you play this?" And I remember as a kid, back in the late 40s, I remember this record. I used to sing it. I think it was the dirtiest thing in the world. I mean, shaving cream. I looked at it, and I went into John Lund, and I said, "Hey, listen, I want to play a dirty record on the air." And he says, "Fine. Where do we all work tomorrow?" I said, No. Let me do this. Let's see what happens. This is 1948 Dirty, which, of course, what the hell? Who cares anymore? Put the thing on, and Lund fell on the floor, hysterical. And we were laughing. The place went berserk. And if I tell you we burned out a switchboard, I'm not kidding. The next day, I played it again. Well, I played it several times that day. And Sam Goody Record Store and Colony Music Shop called me, wanted where to get the record. Vanguard Records called me. Where do we get this Benny Bell? I got a hold of Benny Bell on the air. In fact, I didn't know where he was. I called on the air. I said, if he's listening. The man's in his 70s, hasn't done anything in 30 years, hasn't any money. Came up, I put him on the air, and I got him a record contract with Vanguard. Matter of fact, I'm in the process now of writing the liner notes for the new album that's coming out called Shaving Cream. And the record is a phenomenal success. It's on the national charts. It's in the 70s nationally. Everybody's playing it. Record stations are having record contests. People have to show up at Shaving Cream. He has a new album coming out. He has making a lot of money with Vanguard Records. It's a phenomenon. It's crazy.
Did you get that off? Did you play that first or did Dr. Demento?
No, I was the first one to play it. I took it off Demento's thing, but I had it on before Demento played it. Demento did not play it till a Sunday. I played it way in the middle of the week, and I played the hell out of it. And then everybody else started picking it up because the record started being released.
That guy's toy.
Yeah. Demento's on Saturday night. I played this thing Mondays. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Have you met that guy
No.
What do you think of the show?
personally?
It's okay. It's all right. It doesn't.
Different.
It's different. I like. Let's put it. The station is doing different things. That's what I like about it. And we're sounding like no other station. It's interesting. I enjoy playing the records. I have a big collection of that stuff too. I'll play Masochist Tango all the time. I played Fanny. Everybody should take a ship for themselves. I like doing that. So I enjoy that. I don't know if I dig the West Coast stick. I don't like the West Coast shtick. I don't know. But the station is doing things different, and we're having fun. That's the main thing. Personally, I wouldn't listen to it. I can't listen. But it's reached its peak in AM. See, AM, it's like water. It reached a level. FM, because there were so many of them, took a big chunk out of the stations that they're competing with. But there's no one competing with us. The nearest thing to us is WNEW AM, which, of course, is a station of the 50s. They're dead. I mean, they don't have it anymore. Nothing. They won't take a chunk out of us. If anything, we will take some of theirs. They're taking chunks out of an ABC. And then they're fighting each other, like an NEWFM and QIV will destroy each other. CBS FM does pretty well. They do a lot of adults. XLO, PIX doing the same thing ABC is doing. So they're just fighting each other. It doesn't really matter.
PLJ's a little different though.
If you listen to it, you got top 40 there too. They're doing top 40. They're not doing real, quote, what FM was supposed to do. I don't think NEW is doing it either. QIV is trying, but I wonder how long that'll last, you know? Everybody gets very commercial. That's what happens. It's called the old buck.
Yeah. I enjoy those.
I don't have a studio. I have a huge amount of television equipment at home. I have color equipment at home. I can go on the air and color from my house.
Do you really?
I've always loved television, amateur television, experimental television.
Really? Oh,
I
that's
experiment.
great.
I have a company that experiments. I do that. I have a company that produces industrial stuff and experimental television. And I have my own little toys at home. It's my toys. And I have a magnificent audio system at home. I have a quadraphonic with every system in it. I mean, I have, Christ, decoders in there that haven't been invented yet. I got stuff home that I shatter walls and break glass with my stereo. My quadraphonic. I love it. I have everything made in quad.
Do you listen to FM when you're home?
No. No, I don't care for FM. Now, let me qualify that. I don't care. I care for certain music. To me, FM doesn't mean anything. To me, you say to me, Bruce, what do you listen to? Don't tell me you listen to FM, and I'm not putting it
A
down.
lot of kids generally go AM
What is FM?
stinks.
What does FM mean?
Everybody goes AM
No,
stinks,
that's
but what do they
bull.
mean?
Yeah.
No, no.
They
What are you talking?
sound
See, I want cereal. I don't need a prize in the Cracker Jacks. I want good Cracker Jacks. I watch television. I listen to music. I listen to FM. I listen to AM when there's something on that I want to listen to. You just can't make a blanket statement. I listen to WRFM on FM. Right? I listen to PLJ occasionally on FM. Right? I listen to all kinds of music. I love all kinds of music. I listen to this station. I won't listen to any other station. I listen to England once in a while when he's on. I think Dan is fun, and I love the way Dan destroys that station.
That's what
Well, according to the program director, should answer that, but I assume I assume it's his job to put somebody in Imus's position, which is a prime position, of somebody he feels can do the job and that can reach the audience and relate in a way that Imus relates. Now, Oogie Pringle, who usually does the Imus show, is a character, and he does his little naughty little shticks and his little voices and his little characters. Radio City Bill is sort of a straight format disc jockey, and he fits in another place, so he can fit somewhere else. But this is something that John Lund would have to answer. But that's what I believe. I don't know. Probably Al Brady, but they don't try to. They can't do me. There's no. I'm me. I guess you could say it's unique, without sounding too conceited. I do me. I don't do anyone else. There's no one can do shticks. Like, see, all my shticks. I don't write anything down. Most of the things you have, generally they write things down or they're planned that are recorded. I don't do that. I do everything on the spur of the moment. Everything is, I call my stuff folk shtick. I do it as it comes. So nobody can do me, so it doesn't matter.
Do you think that
That's the thing. Al is a very good format disc jockey, right? That's been here for a while, that I think lends a very good buffer between a guy like myself and Vernon with a V.
I would agree.
Vernon with a V and myself, two characters, but on the opposite ends of the fence. And the station needs a good buffer. And Al is plain Al, just like it says. And as Imus would say, plain, mundane,
Yes.
garden variety Al. Al does a very good, competent show.
Yeah.
And he holds an audience, by the way. The last rating show, he holds the audience.
What?
There was no problems whatsoever. Pat Whitley was here for several years, and he had his opportunity. See, a program director is a very dangerous position. You got to produce, otherwise you're out. Pat was here for 3 years, and nothing happened to the station. The station was like a revolving door. And it came to pass whereby Perry Bascom sat down with his boss, and they decided to rebuild a whole new staff. There was no arguments. There was no problems. Excellent. I think radio's doing better now than it ever did since its inception. There's tremendous opportunities, and there's tremendous opportunities for young guys that are innovative and that have something to say, because the personality thing is back. And the days of the Drake garbage and the Sklar garbage, with the statistical thing, this is number one, number two, number three, is over. People want to hear people on the radio. And television, forget it. Unbelievable.
How about the money aspect?
Money aspect? You got, just like any other field, it's a very difficult field to start making a buck until you make the large markets. And there's only one large market, that's New York City. You can make bucks in other markets, but you have to be very willing to work hard and build yourself up. It takes a long time. And once you get up there, you look at me, man, it's still 7 days a week.